We are just showing you a few parts. You can see, for example, if this is the wheel of a motorbike, right? If this is an engine, if this is a crank and so on, that very complicated castings where very high quality is also required in terms of dimensional accuracy and surface finish and so on. So all these can be done. Of course, in sand casting, we can do even more complex, but there, after the casting is done, then we do a lot of final machining and finishing operations. Here in die casting, you can directly get the parts without any finishing operation. There's still more, right? Camera bodies, video bodies, and so on. Advantages and limitations, again, without reading, if you pause it and try to think of it yourself, I am very sure that you can directly come up with a lot of those. Advantages: economical for large production quantities. Initial cost of the machine is very high, but if you have to make thousands of pieces, then it is economical. Good accuracy and good surface finish. Thin sections are possible, and rapid cooling means a small grain size and good strength in the casting, right? Disadvantages: generally limited to metals with low melting points, and the part geometry must allow removal from the die. So though generally complex geometries can be done, but not as complex as in sand casting. So now we can write the two biggest names: die casting, sand casting. In the expendable mold, sand casting is the biggest one. In the permanent mold, die casting is the biggest one. So now compare these two only, die versus sand. Die casting requires less floor space in compared to sand casting, because there you have to make a lot of molds and the whole molding system is to be there. So in the factory, you need less space in die casting. It helps in providing precision dimensional control, die casting, with a subsequent reduction in machining cost. It provides greater improved surface finish, die casting. Thin sections of complex shape can be produced. More true shape can be produced with close tolerance in die casting. So, I mean, you see this, because the surface finish and the size and so on, right, is the same, dimensional accuracy and surface finish. Castings produced by die casting usually are less defective because of the air or vacuum pressure, all the porosity is gone, and because of the high cooling rate, the grain size is good, right? It produces more sound casting, right? Better casting, more uniform than sand casting. It is a very quick process. Its rate of production is high, as much as 800 castings per hour. They are now saying instead of 500, 800 castings per hour and so on, right? So these are all there, but as I keep on telling you, quality, cost, time. Quality, cost, time, right? So even in sand casting, the final quality is as good as we want, because we, after casting, do the trimming and finishing operations and everything. Here, we don't need to do that. We get the dimensional accuracy and the surface finish directly. But even in sand casting, we do get the dimensional accuracy and the surface finish that we want, but we have to do the surface grinding operations and the machining operations there. There, in sand casting, we have to make hundreds and thousands of molds, right? So a whole sand molding system and so on is there, the space is required. But compared to sand molding, the cost of the mold and the cost of the machine is very high. So, right, so cost, quality, time, and the choice will be up to the company that installs it. So with this, you have finished the biggest type of permanent mold, die casting. But just as earlier, we finished sand casting, but then we introduced the other ones. So what are the other permanent mold methods? But we will not go into as much detail, as I keep on telling you. If you go into a company which is doing centrifugal casting, then you will learn much more. So, okay, centrifugal casting. What does the name tell you? Remember, in your basic physics and so on, you have centripetal and centrifugal forces, right? Centripetal, something which is pulling you towards the center, and centrifugal, something which is pulling you away from the center. The sun is there and the earth is there, right? And the earth is rotating on an orbit. The sun is pulling it towards itself, so it is centripetal force. And the earth is trying to run out of the orbit, so it is centrifugal. And both are balanced, so therefore there is this orbit, right? So centrifugal force is there. So now, why the name centrifugal? Why the name centrifugal? It means that some type of rotation will be involved, isn't it? Centripetal, centrifugal is not there until that orbital motion rotation is not there. So let us see. It utilizes inertial forces, the centrifugal force caused by rotation, to force the molten metal into the mold cavities. So yes, we were right in thinking that if there is centrifugal force, then some type of rotation will be there. If they will show you a figure, then it will be easier to understand. Molten metal is poured into a rotating mold. Molds are made of steel, iron or graphite and may be coated with refractory lining for longer mold life. Pipes, cylinder liners and similarly shaped hollow parts can be cast by this process easily. Okay? So let us see, right? If you see here a schematic illustration of the centrifugal casting process. Pipes, cylinder liners and simply shaped hollow parts can be cast. So this is the mold. This is the mold. Up above and below, this is the mold. Okay? And there is a drive shaft and rollers. Molten metal is somewhere in the furnace, comes through a ladle, it is poured through this spout into the mold. And if you can see, there is a drive roller and a free roller. With this set of rollers, the mold can rotate. The mold can rotate. So when you pour it, the mold is rotating. And because it is rotating, so the metal that you pour sticks only to the outer surface, does not remain inside. So a hollow shape is automatically created, right? This is brilliant, right? This is like a cylinder and it goes into the cylinder. If you don't rotate it, it will stick to the lower part of the cylinder only and that's it. But it is rotating. And of course, the rotating speed and everything is very well designed and it is poured into it. So because it is rotating, so it is pushing it outward, centrifugal force. So it goes to the outer surface there and there, right? So it sticks to the inside of the tube only. And of course, it will be very well designed that how much material is to be poured in and at what speed or RPM it is to be rotated so that a proper thickness is there and it is very uniformly coated all around, right? So of course, then pipes and hollow cylinders and so forth are directly made. You don't have to have a core, right? So this is a huge thing that you are doing casting directly of a pipe or a cylinder or that type of a thing, and you do it without a core. Now the name semi-centrifugal casting. Semi-centrifugal casting. So it means some centrifugal process is still there, but it is not exactly the same method, so the word semi. So let us see A part, a schematic illustration of the semi-centrifugal casting process. Wheels with spokes can be cast by this process. Try to look at the wheel of a bicycle or a motorbike, right? So wheels with spokes can be directly done. So now if you see here, this is the cope part, this is the drag part, the whole flask is there outside, there is a pouring basin and gating system and so on. This will be the casting, and the flask is there, so a holding fixture is there. But so this is almost like the components of a typical mold, but then this whole system is attached to this revolving rotating table. So this is the difference, that it is not like the centrifugal casting earlier for hollow parts, simple hollow parts. It is more complicated parts, hollow parts, but so the whole mold system is there, but it is attached to a revolving system. So in part B then, if you see, there is a casting here, a casting there, a casting there, a casting there. So it means you can do more than one types of casting, and the pouring basin is there. And then because of the revolving system, the metal is there, and by centrifuging, it will fill into the mold cavities. By centrifuging, it will. So in B, they say a schematic illustration of casting by centrifuging. The molds are placed at the periphery of the machine, right? The molds are placed here and here at the ends, the periphery of the machine. And the molten metal is forced into the molds by centrifugal forces. So you see here, you are not making hollow pieces, simple hollow pieces like pipes and cylinders. You are making more complicated pieces. So therefore there is a whole die system. But then you use the concept of centrifuging, centrifugal forces, which will push the material towards the outside periphery to fill it. So therefore you call it semi-centrifugal casting. Now I have told you earlier, you see the two biggest methods: expandable mold, sand casting; permanent mold, die casting. They are the most common, most popular, the best methods in these two categories. So there we went into more detail. The other methods we are showing you so you know it, right? As a manufacturing person, you know these methods. But if you end up in a company where centrifugal or semi-centrifugal casting is being done, then you will know much more about it. In the foundry that I worked with, the basic types like die casting or sand casting were there. The pattern making shop was there, but we did not have any centrifugal or semi-centrifugal casting. Nowadays, right, if you end up in that type of a factory, you will learn it. Otherwise, you just go to the internet, type centrifugal casting, and more details will be there. You just go to YouTube and type centrifugal casting and you can see a video. So if you want to learn more, then you can do that. Squeeze casting. Squeeze, you know the word squeeze, to apply pressure. For example, if you want to take out the juice from a lemon or lime or orange, you squeeze it and the juice comes out, right? So that pressurizing system is called squeezing. Now, solidification of molten metal under high pressure, a combination of advantages of casting and forging. Now this is a big complex sentence. Squeeze casting means that you are solidifying under pressure. You are solidifying under pressure. So you see, in die casting also, it is a type of a pressure casting. You keep on applying the pressure during solidification. So in that sense, it is similar, but we will see later on, we have not gone to forging. In forging, you directly hammer the material into the die shape. So here they are saying that we are doing pressure casting, but sort of combining some hammering into it. And then we call it a squeeze casting. So pressure is applied by a punch, right? Punch is like a hammer. Punch is not like a cylinder. So pressure is applied by a punch and it keeps the entrapped gases in solution. High pressure contact at the die metal interface promotes good heat transfer. High cooling rate means finer microstructure and good mechanical properties. Near net shape parts, the dimensional accuracy and the surface finish is very good. Complex shapes can be done. Fine surface details can be there. Both ferrous and non-ferrous alloys can be cast by this method. Typical products of squeeze casting: automotive wheels, mortar or cannon bodies, brake drums, valve bodies, and so on, right? So this is squeeze casting. We are not giving as much details of the other processes, but this much is enough. We will just show you, right? So let us just show you what is squeeze casting in a schematic method, in a schematic manner.